Alright, here we are with another video on the ultimate DIY home security system. This time we're going to talk about the cellular connection right here. So we've already discussed the sensor side, so when you open the door up, we send the ESP.
The front door has opened.
There it goes, we get the push notification on our phone. But when you open the door up, it sends the ESP now packet directly over to the ESP8266 at the gateway. That passes the data along to the particle boron cellular module here, and then up to the particle cloud it goes, where we send out the push notification to smartphones as well as the MQTT data down to the monitor. So a lot going on there, but in this video all we're going to talk about is the cellular module. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so a couple things you're going to need. First, obviously, you need a cellular module, and I'm using the boron LTE module you see here. If you're outside the US, you may want to look at the 2G, 3G module, which if I scroll down here, go to the cellular FAQ, you should be able to see, yep, right there. You'll see all of the countries that module supports. So you can still try that. There's also other modules that you can experiment with, like the electron module, but in this video I'm going to focus on the boron LTE module. And then going back over to the wiki page, like I discussed in the last video, the only connections you need to make over to the ESP8266 trigBoard is for the UART. Okay, so pretty straightforward there. Then you need to set up a few accounts. Obviously you need to set up an account with Particle, so click login and create an account with them. And once you do that, you'll have access to the web IDE, the console, the ways to set up those web integrations and manage the account. And at the time of making this video, they're going to give you 3 months free of use out of the module. After that, it's $3 per month per device per 3 megs of data, which for this application, in my testing, I haven't even come close to hitting that limit. Okay, once you have that, then you're also going to need an io.adafruit account. This is free. So set that up, and we'll come back to this once we get to that part of the video. Also, to send out the push notifications, you're going to need a Pushsafe account. So go and register an account with them. This is it does cost money, but it's very, very inexpensive. They charge you by the push notifications, and I usually buy 10,000 at a time, and it's pretty reasonable. Yeah, so looking at their pricing chart here, you see that if you bought like 20,000 calls, it's 9.99 euros. That in US dollars is $11. So again, not much at all, and that will last you a very long time. Alright, so those are all the accounts you need to set up. Now let's get into the Particle side. Also, on your smartphone, you're going to want to download the Particle app. Okay, and this is what we're going to use to commission the Particle module, and I'm actually going to do this live for you because I do have this module that's fresh out of the box. Okay, so I've got the app loaded up. I'm just going to unbox this real quick. Okay, I got the module out. I got the antenna plugged in, and which is a very delicate connector, so be careful with that. And now I'm going to plug in via USB. Alright, so we see the blue light there flashing on it. On the app, you should see the Your Devices screen, and at the top right, you can click the little plus sign, and we're going to add boron, scan the data matrix. Okay, I have attached the cellular antenna and see the device is blinking blue, check, and click next. Pairing with your boron. Congrats. Fully paired. And it wants to update, so I'll click begin update. And we'll let that just go. Alright, that took a couple minutes. Next it's asking me if I want to set this up in a mesh network. Now these boron modules also have Bluetooth built into them, Bluetooth 5.0, and you can mesh other modules into this guy and use this as a gateway into other Bluetooth modules. But I'm not going to do that, so don't use in a mesh network. And it's thinking. Okay, now it's just giving me that little warning we talked about. We've got the $2.99. It's going to give us free for 3 months. And then do we want to enroll? Yes, we do. Alright, cool. Now we can give it a name. Let's see, I'm going to call this the gym. Next. All set up, done. Cool. And now you should see that device there added into your list of devices. We're done. Now the key thing here is make sure that you have this flashing light blue LED. It's not flashing, it's kind of like a breathing blue. I forget the... It's breathing cyan is the color. Sorry, I had to think about that for a sec. Okay, so this is connected. If you don't see the breathing cyan LED like that, let me zoom in on it. Yeah, hopefully that's showing up on the camera there, but you can see how it's kind of breathing like that. That means that it's connected, and that's what you always want out of the module. If you're seeing like a flashing blue LED, that means, actually, let me just simulate that. Because when you first plug it in, you'll see it, or flashing green, sorry. When you first plug it in, you see that flashing green, meaning that it's trying to get the connection, the cellular connection, and after a few seconds, it will eventually register itself on the tower, and then you'll see it breathing cyan. Okay, and there you have it. Cool. If you don't see that, take the boron module and put it close to a window or something like that. I have had issues like that in the past, but for the most part, the connectivity with these modules is very good, or at least the coverage. Okay, cool. So now we're all set up. The module is provisioned into our account, so we can log into Particle here, go to the console. So once you're in the console, I'm not going to show you this, show you my screen, and I don't really feel like blurring anything out, but you'll see us on the side, My Devices, and you should see the one that you just named. But also, if you could go down a little bit, you'll see a couple other things like integrations, and that's where we're going to set up these web hooks. Also, you'll see the web IDE all the way at the bottom. So I'm going to actually click on that. Okay, now you've got the web IDE opened. If you have this little sidebar here which shows you like examples and stuff, just click the little code icon here to minimize that. Also, make sure that you have Gym selected down here, or whatever name you gave the device. And if you don't see that, click this, and then you'll see all of your other devices list up here, and click the little star next to the one that you want to program. So from here, you should be all set up. And I'm not showing you certain things because I've got a lot of devices that are for private projects. Now let's just do a quick test here just to make sure it works. I'm going to say pin mode 7 is an output. That's the onboard LED on this. And then let's just do a quick like digital right on 7 high like that, and then like a delay, 1 second delay. Oops, yep, that's cool. Copy that, and then just to kind of flash it, give us a little hello world. And when you want to flash it, make sure that you click this, give it a name, click this save here. So it's testsketch.ino. So it's very Arduino-like, which I like. It's nice and easy to work with. It's familiar. And then we can verify it, make sure that it compiles. And let's go ahead and flash it. So it's actually flashing it from the cloud, completely remotely. This could be anywhere in the world. And there you have it. It flashed it, it rebooted, it's rebooting now, and then we should, as soon as it goes to cyan, it'll run this program. And there's a lot you can do with this. And there's our blue LED flashing. Cool, right? So that verifies that we've got everything working with the cellular modem. Now let's get back to the home security system. Alright, I have the example code right here, cellular side. So all you have to do is take this whole thing here, copy and paste it into the web IDE. Okay, so now I've got that code loaded up over here, and there's really not too much to this. It's pretty straightforward, and we'll just kind of work through it, and I'm gonna bounce around a little bit, so I might take a break from reviewing the code and go back to and show you how some of the webhook stuff works. So hopefully it doesn't get too confusing, but let's just dive right in. So here at the setup, again, it's very Arduino-like. We've got the setup that runs once, and then you've got your loop, just like Arduino. And right up here in setup, we configured 2 serial UART ports. The first one here, serial.begin, is the one that is right on the USB port here. So if I go in to the serial monitor window from Arduino, I can actually do that. I have to go get it. So yeah, you can go and select that and use it right from the Arduino if you wanted, or you can use like CoolTerm or whatever you want. So that's just for debug. And then serial 1 is the UART on the pins, and that's what we're using for the connection over to the ESP8266 here. And you'll see little TX and RX printed out there on silkscreen on the boron module, and that is serial 1. And again, we're doing that running that at 9600. A little slower just so the connection is reliable, especially because on the ESP8266 side it's going to be a software UART. Anyway, we're now in the loop, and nothing happens here unless new data comes in over that UART connection, over serial 1. And that would be when the ESP now packet arrives at the ESP8266 here. So as soon as it arrives there, it just passes it right along to the UART into the boron module, and then it ends up right here. And then we just print out serial.println new data, and then the 2 strings here, which this is what we talked about in the last video. I separate the string by a $sign. So going back here to the trigBoard side, you'll see the separator is right there, it's right there, and there. So in a normal message, we would get front door opened and then the battery voltage. Okay, so that's the way I have that set up. And then if we had a low battery, it would just be battery low and then the name, front door. And then if we had the heck where we can check if it's still opened, it would be front door, still opened, and then the battery voltage. So that's the way I have that set up. So what we do here is build out 2 strings. One would be that first part of the message, wait for that $sign, and then we have the second part until we have the end of the string. So then we call this function here send data. Okay, and right here in send data, this is where all the magic happens. This is where we send out the data to the Adafruit database as well as to Pushsafe, so that we can get the push notification to our phone from Pushsafe, and also from Adafruit get the MQTT message down to the monitor. Okay, so there's some special things we have to do here. But you see, really, right here is where it occurs. The particle.publish. Particle.publish right here. So we're setting up a packet first in a very special way, and then sending it to particle.publish. Now when we do that, we're actually calling a webhook. And these webhooks are very, very powerful. You can do so much with them. And they're nice because they are handling all of the cloud-to-cloud communication stuff that we don't want to deal with down here. So when we do this particle.publish, you can see it's very simple. All we're doing is sending up the packet that we're creating here, and then calling a webhook. So we've got home security post and Pushsafe. So those are the 2 webhooks we're using, and these are very cool. The webhook is essentially allowing us to do cloud-to-cloud communication, not here locally. So we have, it's basically like instructions what we want to do with the data once we send it up there, and we can handle it up here at the cloud or remote side of things, which I think is really cool, especially for like updating or tweaking things. You just are receiving data up here, and you can do whatever you were manipulate it however which way you want. All right, so we'll dig into this, and hopefully it'll make more sense. So let's go now back to the console. So leave this open, but go back to the console And on the left side, you'll see integrations. Click that and click new. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is the one that's used for the IO.Adafruit account. So we're able to send data from the particle module to a feed within there. So when we go back to this, after you have it set up, I'm going to look at all of our feeds, and you'll see that I have one here for house. And look, front door opened. So every time I click that, actually I'll do it right now. I'm going to do this right now.
The front door has opened.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So there's the timestamp on it, 3:36, and I just clicked that now. So every time I do this, all it does is put that there. And at the monitor side, essentially I have a callback anytime data is published to this feed. So that's pretty easy, but we might as well get this set up now. It's very simple. So you go to your IO.Adafruit thing, click on AIO key here. You're going to need that for your webhook. So when you go back here, go down to the HTTP headers, and then make sure you have these things in there. So host, io.adafruit.com, and then put x-aio-key there, and then put your key right there. Just paste it in right there. And then up here, give it a name, so home security post, because that's going to match the call that we have here, home security post right there. And I'm going back here now. And then this whole URL points to where we have that feed that we're going to use, which will be right here, house. So actually what I want to do there is point it right to this group here, feeds, because I have house within that. And then when we send the data out from the Boron module, we're going to point that right to house, and you'll see that in a second. So when you go over to the webhook, you see we've got the whole thing built up here. Put your username right there, whatever your username is, and I think you can, well, you should be able to, yep, well, it's right there. So grab that, put that there, groups, and then feeds, because it's in the group feeds right here, you see, and then data. Data just meaning, that's we're going to post to that group. And then we're going to do request type as a post, JSON format, any device can send this, and then this is where you have to put this in. So this is what it's going to expect back, and this is like the JSON format, and then key and value here is its way of passing data in from the Boron module. So we're going to have, our key will be house, and then the value will be that front door opened. So it took me a while to figure this out. You can go to their documentation to see kind of how that works, and they've got some other examples there. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for the IO.Adafruit. Now I can go back to the web IDE, and you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So I need to build out a packet now for the the IO.Adafruit, but really for the webhook. So you see, this is all JSON in here, the JSON format. And I'm not going to make a video here explaining how this is formatted. So you have to have, these things in quotes like that. So you're going to see a lot of the escape characters. But you can see the format matches up with what our webhook expects, which is this. This is the format it needs to be in. So you see the key is going to be house, and then the value will be string 1. Which is, front door opened or whatever, So that's what we're going to pass in, close it all up, and then call that webhook here, publish to it with that packet. So hopefully that made sense. Maybe not, but it's really straightforward. It might take some experimentation, but these webhooks, again, are so powerful because it allows you to talk to the entire internet. Anything that has an API you can set up. Okay, next we're going to do this very similar kind of thing, but now to Pushsafe. So let's go to that webhook. All right, so I've got that opened up. You see we're calling it Pushsafe. There's the URL, pushsafe.com/API. We're doing a post, the format, oops, oh man, did I just screw that up? Nope. All right, the request format is web form, any device can send it, And they've got this sort of interesting way of passing and they've got this sort of interesting way of passing data. So it's all by these letters, and each letter means something different. So K is the key. So when you log into the Pushsafe account, you'll see right there staring at you is the key. So copy and paste that right here. D, I'd have to go check. Let me look that up real quick. I forget what D is. So when you log in there, they've got like their parameters off to the right, and D means, yeah, just the device. So A is equals all devices. T is the title, and M is the message. Okay, so this is how you set up how you want your push notification to look. And they've got other parameters as well, so you can change like the sound, you can have vibration, you can send a URL, different priorities, so lots of stuff you can do there. But for the most basic setup, this is all you need. And again, you see that same kind of weird thing where we can pass data to it, so 0 dot value and 1 dot value. So obviously I'm gonna send like front door has opened here, and this would be like battery voltage. Okay, and that's all you need for that. Now let's go back to the Web IDE. So to build out that, you see right here, key, T, and then the value will be string 1. Cool, right? And that's the front door is opened. And then building out the JSON, key is M. So going back here would be M, and the value there, which is like battery is opened, or sorry, not battery, the battery voltage. So that's what I'm doing here, string 1, string 2. And then all we do is publish to that webhook Pushsafe, and with the packet we just created, and that's it, you're done. So now you've sent out the 2 webhooks, sent out data to the 2 webhooks, and you get your push notification. And if all works and you have all that set up, when you open a door,
The front door has opened.
you get your push notification on your phone. So there it is, front door opened. Cool, right? Okay, so anyway, hopefully that all makes sense. I think I might make a few follow-up videos on this, and I might actually install this in a location and document it, but hopefully that explains everything. Thanks for watching.